Hello, my name is Pastor Jim Mailloux, and I pastor at Hope Fellowship in Pasco, Washington. And I'm going to take us through Mark 14, verses 1 through 11, as part of our study time together. I'm going to allow you to read the passage just for the sake of time in this video to keep it as short as possible. But essentially, there are three scenes that we're dealing with. The first scene is the chief priest and the elders meet to plot to arrest Jesus and kill him. The second scene is a meal in Jesus' honor that's given in the town of Bethany, right outside Jerusalem. And the third scene is Judas Iscariot making a deal with the chief priests to turn Jesus over to them. All four Gospels talk about the meeting of the chief priests and the elders to arrest Jesus, and that meeting with Judas Iscariot to come up with an agreement to betray him. But only Matthew, Mark, and John deal with the story of this meal in Bethany. And the Gospel of John actually gives the most detail. And so we don't know exactly when this meal took place, because Matthew and Mark place the story between the events that took place just 2 days before Jesus was arrested and crucified. But John tells the story from the time Jesus arrived in Bethany 6 days before the Passover, and that a meal was given in his honor. And then the next day was the triumphal entry of Jesus, Palm Sunday. And so exactly when it happened isn't the most important thing, but what you can tell is that the pot is beginning to boil, and the religious leaders are getting nervous and really want to get rid of Jesus. And Judas Iscariot is becoming more and more disillusioned with Jesus and his message. And so the religious leaders were worried because Jesus is getting more and more popular with the people. He's solving real problems that they're dealing with by miraculously healing them. And he had just raised Lazarus from the dead. And so here's this meal. There were three siblings, Martha, Lazarus, and Mary. And on the night before Palm Sunday, Simon the leper, whom Jesus had also healed, decided to host a meal to honor Jesus. And so Simon asked Martha to prepare the food because she was known to be an excellent cook. She enjoyed working in the kitchen and making food. And Jesus had recently raised her brother Lazarus from the dead, so she was very excited to participate in this meal to honor Jesus. And so there's Lazarus sitting at the dinner table with Jesus, Simon the leper, who had also been healed. Mary was at the feet of Jesus, honoring him. That seemed to be the place that she took. And Martha is in the kitchen making the food, but also present at this meal is Simon's son, who was Judas Iscariot. And Judas was the disciple of Jesus who would soon betray him. And so as Mary sits at Jesus' feet, her heart just full of devotion to him and thankfulness for raising her brother Lazarus, she makes the decision to anoint Jesus with oil, this pound of nard that was used, really about 12 ounces of this very special, very difficult to obtain ointment. This ointment was found in the Himalayan mountains between Tibet and India, and it had to be carried by camel over rugged terrain in order to get to the marketplace. And so they said that the value of 1 pound of this ointment is estimated to be about 1 year of wages for the average person. Just think of what you make in a year, or what an average person makes in a year, and imagine having that amount of oil and just pouring it on the feet of Jesus and on the head of Jesus, right? And so the value of this causes some people to be alarmed by her action. Of course, she's thinking, hey, he just raised my brother from the dead. There's no expense that I would have spared to bring that about. Of course I'm going to honor Jesus in this way. But not everyone was pleased with her decision to anoint Jesus' feet and head with it. But Jesus responds and he says, Mary prepared me for my burial. In these days, when someone was buried, they would put spices and perfumes to help mitigate the odor of the decomposition of the body. And so Jesus is rightly saying, hey, in a little bit, I'm going to be arrested and crucified, and she's simply anointing my body in preparation for that. He also said, wherever the gospel is preached, what she has done will also be told in memory of her. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're telling this story going through the Gospel of Mark. And here we come to this passage. And sure enough, we're telling this story in memory of her and her act of honoring Jesus with this expensive perfume. But this seemed to be the final straw for Judas Iscariot, who then went to the chief priests and the elders, and he promised to turn Jesus over to them in exchange for some money. And so he finds this opportunity after the Last Supper when Satan enters him, and he leaves the supper to go to the Roman soldiers and guide them to the Garden of Gethsemane so that they can arrest Jesus. So may God strengthen your faith as you continue to study his word. Thank you.